I always say, we'd be on television, clock on the wall says it after all, and a lot of our people are running late, but we're going to start on time. They just have to catch us when they get here. We want to honor your time. So right now, let's get ready to stand up and let's get ready to go.
The team is going to come up and help me in just a moment, but you can sing this as a congregational song, all right? Put your hands together. So much better. you to just take a note and say, I feel so much better last year when I decided to give my business and my problems and my situation and my circumstances over to the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I feel so much better. Look to your neighbor and say, I feel just a little bit lighter. I feel just a little bit better. I feel like I can move. I feel like I can dance. I feel like I can clap my hands. I feel like I can raise my voice and say hallelujah. I feel better. Somebody say better. Somebody say better. If you're glad that it's better, just wave your hand and tell your neighbor, I feel better. Just lift your hands and worship. Our Father, you are holy. We give you glory and we bless your name. Our Father, you are holy. So we give you glory and
praise to my name. Amen. Come on. My God, my God, my God. We are so blessed.
Hallelujah.
And our prayer for the last year was praying for families.
Hallelujah.
And I was just looking, I said,
Hallelujah.
when I look at the last two families that we're praying for, how phenomenal and how blessed we are.
Hallelujah.
When I look at the Kellys and the Manuel family, give them a hand, amen. What a blessing to the body of Christ. Deacon Sean and Lady Sophia have been working like Hebrew slaves since they came. Their kids are involved in the children's ministry. Lady Cheryl, and I looked at them this morning, and Lady Michelle on the praise team, Elijah on the camera, Paris on the steel camera, and Daddy on the guitar. Give God some praise, families. I tell people all the time, when you're making a selection of a church home, your first concern after Christ ought to be your children. Because we old enough to know what we need. And we ain't got it by now, we might not get it. But you want to be somewhere where my children are growing and being developed and being nurtured and in an atmosphere that everybody's going to love them just like they are. And I look at Paris and Elijah all the time, just like they've been my niece and nephew all their life. But I really praise God. I tell you, I was just sitting back there looking. Y'all know Sean's a workaholic. I mean, that boy, he gonna do it. And Sophia the same way. I don't want to say it's the Navy in them since I retired from the Air Force. But I just say it's the military in them. Amen. We just want to let you know how much we truly appreciate. I call him my little X-Man. Come on down. I call my little X-Man right here. Give him a hand. Amen. Don't he look good? He good.
That boy saw.
I wanted to do this, and then when I got ready to do it, Grandma went outside. I said, I gotta wait till Grandma come back in there. But at the last Cardinals game that we were at, you know, they always feature the kids, and they have them on the Jumbotron, and they have them sing God Bless America, or the national anthem. And I just want to let y'all know how blessed we are to let y'all know that this young man right here was over there doing his thing for the St. Louis Cardinals. Give him a hand, amen. Amen. And I'm so proud of him, you know, that $1 million smile and them dimples. And then he looking good, amen. So I just want to say how proud we are of you personally, and you keep up the good work. Sometimes it's tough coming to a new area, a new school. You got to get to know people, but it's all good. You make new friends and everything. Those their kids, they just came here. This is their first time. They're going to a new school. So you just keep on doing what you do. Stay respectful and continue to make us proud. All right? Congratulations. Amen. Amen.
That boy saw.
Amen. So this time we're going to make sure that we lift up Deacon Willie. He's not here today because, you know, he had a knee replacement on Monday. And Reverend Garnett and I went over there to see him before he went up under the knife. And so now he's been transferred from Christian Northeast to Jefferson Barracks rehab right across the bridge. So we just want to pray for him. And y'all know the brothers love to have fun. We tease each other. They send them texts like, you know, stay D'd up. We need you, K-N-E-E-D. I need a word from the Lord. So
won't he do it?
But Deacon Willie, I tell you, you know, if he could be here, he would be here, and he's probably watching us. But we continue to pray for him. And so this morning, in his state, we still got other two deacons that are here. I was teasing Deacon Sean. I said, Deacon Sean, when you come up, you got to do it gradually. Because he had on his Steelers hat, Steelers shorts and everything. He was cool back there. And so I said, okay, come back up to, we're going to need you at the deacon stuff. So I'm thinking he's going to come up with a nice pair of slacks and nice shirt or something. He come with 6-button Steve Harvey. I'm like, come on, Sean, don't know. And then it's the same color suit that he won Sophia's heart in. Them khakis. Don't say, yeah.
wasn't with.
Slick back.
Amen. Amen. I love them. They're another one of my favorite couples. I love teasing them, all the stories. And today I start that series on relationships. And you know that ain't nothing wrong with love. It's the lovers. Come on, say amen, somebody. And I just love it. That's why I love to compliment Lady Michelle and Mr. Manuel and Lady Sophia. I love them. And even we talk about Reverend Garnett, Lady Monica, 34 years of marriage.
Yes,
34 years. And he loved his woman. He loved his woman. We were over at the hospital, and Deacon went on. I said, well, I got to make another appointment. And he said, I'm leaving too. I said, oh, yeah. I said, Monica home by herself. I said, well, God bless you. You know? I ain't need to hear no more. Come on, say amen. Somebody ain't need to hear no more. Amen. Amen. They had the grandkids for 3 months. You know, it's kind of crowded in the house. He said, Monica home by herself. And he put emphasis on self. And he had that look in his eye. Come on, say amen, somebody. So I just want to say, you know, having the young couples and then having this maturity and this seasoning. Like Rashawn, you just got married. So Rashawn's a young couple, and Heaven and Javier got married, and so we got other couples. So I just want to tell y'all, just, you know, just keep on loving one another. But we're going to talk about relationships for everybody. I want to make sure that your ship is a right ship. Come on, deacons.
I was wondering what the Lord was doing in Sunday school. Yeah. Bible records that your wife is your Lord. Amen. You see my girl? I don't think you know my daughter, but this morning when we was in Sunday school, we was reading about Abraham, and before Abraham God had told him to leave his family where he was at with his dad and all that. And I remember back in 1980, 79, when I met Monica. Yeah. I was telling Pastor Catherine about that this morning. I won't share all about it. It was a terrible time in my life. A lot of turmoil. My band had to leave me. I was a mixed up person. Just like Abraham. Abraham was confused when God said you got to go.
Oh yeah.
My dad told me at 18 I had to leave. I was so mixed up. I was thinking about my glory, my wife.
Oh yeah, that's right.
This morning, the Lord was speaking to me in Sunday school, and I remember telling the Sunday school class that at 5 I cursed one of my family members out so bad that my dad had to give me a whooping. And we were talking about these times are worse than old times, and that was 50-some years ago. And I was doing that. And I grew on up in the midst of all of that. In 1979, I met Monica. I remember meeting her, and I was dressed to the bone.
Watch out, man.
She couldn't handle it, right?
Yes, sir.
With 2.5-inch white walls on it. Pulled up in front of the car, 2-door. She saw that car, I know she was. This testimony is not about me, it's about her. I remember being in the operating room, and my oldest daughter was born. We was just kids. The lady asked me and Monica when I met her, it all started happening to the good. And I can remember her saying to me, Richard, you need to stop drinking. Everybody I knew was drinking. And I thought about it. I stopped drinking. I stopped smoking. I remember her telling me, said, Richard, I'm going to take the kids to church this morning. So why you want to do that? We can just stay here.
Folks still saying that, Reverend.
I remember the pastor coming to our house and leading us to the Lord. And the final thing is so much I can tell you. I could write a book about this story. But when God said that Adam, it wasn't good for Adam, the man, to be alone.
Yeah, Adam.
I think God was talking to me.
Yeah.
Because she completed my life. And I remember when I got ready to retire, all of my success has been birthed on her effort.
Amen. Praise God.
When I had my kids, she was there. She was the greatest mother ever. My kids didn't want for anything. I took her overseas, away from her family. She created a home. Even though we was living in a raggedy mobile home. And for 13 years, I had her overseas, away from her family. And she just supported me and our family. And I remember when I was going to retire, she wanted to go to Georgia. And I said, nah, I want to go back home to St. Louis. And we had a problem. We had a house. We was going to sign for the house, but the lady told me I couldn't change the closet around in the house. And I said, well, I'm paying all this money. I should be able to change the closet. You know what I'm saying? I want a smaller closet and a bigger, bigger thing here. And Monica just was there with me. And we was going to be in Belleville. And so Monica said, I was talking to somebody, and right there on Green Mountain Road, there was another place. So we went over there, and I asked the man, I said, listen, let me ask you something. Can I change whatever I wanted? He said, in the four walls, you can change it to whatever you want. I said, this is the place. You know what that place is called? It's called Shiloh.
Yeah.
And Shiloh is the place where the children of Israel built the first ark. The first tabernacle.
Yeah.
To worship the Lord.
Hook it up.
And it was amazing when I knew that we was in Shiloh and I studied the word. Is that every time I got ready to make a move, my wife would say, well, Richard, let's look at it like this. And so I wanted to say to you, thank you for being who you are. Because every time I got to the point where I didn't think I was going to be able to make it, I had you beside me. That you are the best thing that ever happened to me. Except God. You are the best thing. And I wanted to let you know that. All right? Because sometimes my attitude or who I am, I'm just so bossy, I'm the king. But I want to say that to you in front of these people that I love. I want to tell you, thank you for being who you are.
Well, you better stop.
Cut my mic off. Give up my hand. Amen. Thank you, Reverend Lady Monica. I'm so glad the initial plan changed and you didn't catch that midnight train to Georgia. Amen. And husbands, as you well know, you can never go wrong when you tell them and show her at the same time. They have to be simultaneously. Amen. So come on, deacons. Amen. He was over there smiling. He be loving his wife like that. Amen. I got a testimony too. Oh,
Next. Come on. Go
Good morning, church.
Good morning.
May we stand for our morning reading and prayer as well. Today's morning prayer comes from the 4th chapter of Philippians, an all too familiar verse, but sometimes I think it's helpful to kind of back up a couple verses just to get that verse into context. And so it's Philippians 4, verses 10 through 13. I'm reading from the NIV. It says, I rejoice greatly in the Lord that at last you renewed your concern for me. Indeed, you were concerned, but you had no opportunity to show it. Verse 11, I am not saying this because I am in need, for I have learned to be content, whatever the circumstances. I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I have learned the secret. Say that one more time. I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well-fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want. I can do all things through him who gives me strength. Father God, we just come to you, God, just as humble as we know how, dear God. We just thank you so much, Father God, just for being all that we need, Father God, no matter what circumstance, no matter what situation, Lord, that we have found ourselves in, God, or that you have placed us in, Lord. You just taught us, Lord, that we have the secret to being content, Father God, in anything and everything, Lord, that we have come across, Father God. And that's just knowing you and trusting you, dear God. And so I just ask, Lord, that you just bless each and every member, God, in here, God, under the sound of my voice, Father God, whatever their struggles is, God, whatever trials and tribulations that they are going through, Father God, if you brought them to it, you are certainly powerful enough to bring them through it, Father God. Lord, continue to bless us as a church family, God. We thank you, Lord, just for the growth that you've just given us, God, and you've just had your hand on us, Father God. And so we ask, Lord, that you continue to just bless our shepherd, Father God, of this house. God, bless him, God, as he continues to lead us, Father God, and give us the hearts, Father God, to be led, dear God. We pray these things in your son, in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. You can have your seats. Amen. Deacon Sir, you had me hyped last night. You showed me the game. I thought you
Tricked you.
Amen. I want them to see that 6 button, man.
I got something else.
I'm going to use you for invitation. Come on, choir. Amen. Come on, choir. I thought Deacon High Reverend would give his testimony about his wife. Oh, man, go 20 more minutes. Y'all get real. Just go on, sit down. And Amen. Ain't nobody around. I got to give God praise for the joy of God. went too far. Amen. Give them another hand. They brought it. Amen. Woo. Anointed from the time we start to the time we finish. Amen. Lady Kim, give me, I don't normally do this, but I need good help with some air right here. No air conditioning.
Go ahead, brother. Play it today, boy.
I want y'all to know that our young preacher, Minister Rowe.
Yes, sir.
Y'all always,
Tell the story. Tell the story.
I just want to let y'all know that he may have to leave early because he worked overnight. He got off and came in yesterday, and it was the brothers' time to clean the church, and he could have went home. But he sent us a text. I'm vacuumed and empty trash and everything. Amen. Back to work, and he has to go back to work at 2 o'clock today. So I want to let y'all know if he gets up, because he is a faithful young man. I praise God for him. They thought I was getting ready to tease him.
Yes, sir.
Because he was preaching at his mama's law church last week. And I'm watching it on Facebook. Got my pen ready to get the word. Get ready to get the word.
Well,
he went on about 5-10 minutes about how much he loved preaching there.
Reverend Scott.
I said, man, I licensed the boy, Reverend. I said, I licensed the boy. He was going, he just kept going. I just love preaching here. And I just love preaching here. And okay, I got it. You love preaching here. But y'all gotta stay here at his mama's law church. Say amen, somebody. So I told him, just wipe your nose, I forgive you. Give God some praise. Amen. Let me go ahead and preach. We've got a long day. Yesterday we had a volleyball, 2 football games. The last game was at 8 o'clock at night.
Yes, sir.
In the cold and the rain. But,
a good one.
I love supporting the kids, and they showed out. They showed out. And so today, immediately following this, that's where most of our kids are. The Christian Activity Center. They get donations from all over the region to keep their center open. Today's the open house where all of their donors come and donate the money and all that good stuff. And so after the service, I'm going to be rushing down there. You remember, be rushing down there. And y'all pray for those little 12 girls that I adopted a year and a half over, because they all live in the housing projects. And 3 days ago, they live in building 15. And in building 15, a 42-year-old man was killed right where they live. One of our parents called the ambulance. I mean, brutal killing. They shot him between the legs. They shot him multiple times. And so this is what they go through all the time. When I first met them, they were trying to give me what to do. They say they had a park across the street. They call it a dead man's park. And nephews and cousins and everything got killed. And they said, well, Pastor, I said, well, what y'all do when they start shooting? So we just go upstairs and get up on our bed till they stop. And I'm sitting there in shock, because I'm like, Jesus. And they were like, this is what we used to. So I just want to let y'all know, don't think that when they come here, it's a blessing. Because they know they come here, they're going to get taught. They know they're going to get fed. And they know that we're going to look out for them. When I first got them, none of them had beds. They're sleeping on floors and mattresses. And went out and got all the girls a bed. None of them, some of the parents didn't have any furniture. And we got donations and now furnished their entire house. All in donations, amen? So I want to let y'all know, the Lord is blessing. None of them had bikes. He told me y'all get good grades. So I got some bikes. Some people gave you bikes that had been beat up and stuff. I went over here to the bike shop in O'Fallon, and I told the guy, I said, told him what I'm doing. He said, well, Pastor, I tell you what, whatever bike you get, I'll fix it free of charge. Say amen, somebody. So just pray for them, because they live in a war zone. They live in a war zone. Even me and Reverend go down there and taking food. We got to pray. We have to pray before we go down there. But the good thing about it is all of them are straight A students. Come on, say amen, somebody. They all read grades above their grade level. And one thing about it, when they're here, they're also taught respect. Like sometimes you don't see them dance, that's because they clown. They clown at school, they don't dance. They don't go on field trips and stuff, but just pray for them because they come from a crazy environment. And I pray to God, just let me see all of them graduate with flat bellies. Say amen, somebody. Because down there, I mean, I'm talking about, it's nothing to have 9 kids and be 29. And so I want our girls to understand that it's more to life than that. And if we can keep them in their books, and we can keep them surrounded at a church with folk who are supporting them, then they have a real chance. When you put God with all that, they got the best chance in the world. Give God some praise. Amen. I just want to say that when I saw I was building 15, and to see somebody get killed, I mean that's tough, especially for an 8, 9-year-old. So you know, I know sometimes you see them, you know, tell me you're proud of them, hug them. I mean, because that could be your daughter. And we definitely look out for them. Let's start this series on relationships. A series on relationships. Now, my thematic thread will always be Psalms 127:1. Except the Lord build a house, they labor in vain that build it. Just that part, except the Lord build the house. Except the Lord build the ship, you labor in vain. And I want to talk about relationships because just because it's a ship don't mean it's a good ship. Sometimes it could be a ship, but be the wrong ship.
Come on now, Bishop.
I'm just kind of talking to that slide come up. Sometimes that ship could be.
I'm waiting for the word.
Thank you, Sean. I was trying to do it on the slide and you would just ease up on me. But anybody know that that's the Titanic? And so when you get on a boat like that, most of you all that have been on cruises, you would think that this is the bomb. But that was the ship that sunk. It was sunk. It sunk because there was a missing key that wasn't on the ship when it hit a rough spot. And some of us in our relationships, they sink because when we hit a rough spot, there are missing keys that are not on the ship.
Come on, preacher.
So I don't want y'all to think that this is going to be a series just for single, married, happily married, sadly married, single, divorced, got somebody, want somebody, looking for somebody. Come on, say amen, somebody. Might be singing the song I searched all over, couldn't find them. Y'all ain't going to help me today. But it's going to help you from building relationships, period, from the ground up. So each week, I'm going to be talking about relationships. I'm talking about, you know, everything. Because relationships, there's 4 kinds of loves. And so when you know those type of loves, and you know about that agape and that philios and that storge, you know, there's a certain loves. Relationships are like a ladder. So you should have that bottom ladder, you know, where you just love one another. And then, you know, you come up, and then you have that brotherly sisterly love, and then you come up, and you have that philios from the word in Philadelphia. That brotherly love. And then there's eros. That's that romantic, that deep, passionate, Victoria's Secret, French Hollywood. Come on, say amen, somebody. Tell somebody that's married folk love. But by the time I get through with this series, you're going to understand why your ship has sunk. Because whether you're married, single, or looking, your ship will sink when you start at the 4th level. Come on, say amen, somebody. Eros is the top level. That's the benefits of being successful at the first 3. So if you start at Eros, when all of the passion is gone, when all the turn off the lights, when the lights come back on and the candle burn out, you fall and you crash because there's no foundation to hold you up. So don't think this ain't for me, this ain't for me, this is going to help you. I'm going to even get as deep as to, you know, being a gentleman. You know, being because some stuff, your marriage will be in trouble and you don't even know it. And if you treat her like a queen and she treats you like a king, you're going to be in good shape. Give God some praise. Amen. So let me do some questions first, and then I'll jump into part 1. and we'll find a good stopping point because this may be a 6 to 8 week series. But first question probably is, why is a series on relationships for me? I think I'll have it. Are you going to do children? Okay, go ahead. All right. Y'all just tell me earlier. I do it if I know.
You want to go to children's church?
Did somebody check the temperature up there? Okay. All the children go to children's church. God bless you, Keisha. Amen. Kids like, I don't need to hear this. I'm too young for a relationship.
They want children's church.
But as cute and handsome as they are, y'all gonna be, they gonna need this course too. Amen. Little boys, little girls chasing each other already. Look at God. Baby Sean said he already been reading the Bible. The baby that find it. All right. Why is a series on relationships with me? That's because that relationships affect everyone. They are universal and you never perfect them. We only grow into being better when we grow in knowledge, understanding the different wiring between males and females, and how relationships which rise are built from the ground up. Except the Lord build the house, thou labor in vain. In other words, whatever relationship you talk about, whether it be platonic or romantic, if God ain't in it, you can't win it. Come on, say amen, somebody. So the need to be connected by the Creator and not your hookup cubit, say amen, somebody. You got to understand that we need to be connected by our Creator and not by anybody's cubit. Question 2, how does it apply to everyone with all of the diversity of status? Some are singles, others are married, some are engaged, involved, just looking, some people just hoping, say amen, somebody. Well, here you go. If you're married, engaged, and involved, and you're already in one, is it solid?
Come on.
Or are you crying and sinking lower more than climbing and growing higher? Come on, say amen, somebody. You have to do an evaluation. Somebody say evaluation. If you're sinking, how do you rise? And if you're climbing, how do you keep from crashing?
Come on.
So this is going to help everybody. And you have to know the difference now, because there is a difference between a relationship and a situation. See, a relationship has two people who have come together in a commitment. I know about you and you know about me, and I ain't ashamed of it. So when you're in a relationship, then it's two people. When you're in a situation, y'all just kicking it. So some of y'all need to go home and find out, are we in a situation? Or are we in a relationship? Like I said, in a relationship, you're excited and you want everybody to know it. A lot of times when people tell me at Faith United, they said, I'm in a relationship, and I know they're on Facebook, the first thing I go to see if both of y'all in it. Come on, say amen, somebody. Because when you're in a relationship, you're excited to change your status. So if they say relationship and you say single, then you're on a one-side ship, that ain't good. Come on, say amen, somebody. So in a relationship, both of you are in it. And both of you all are proud about it to be in it. So that's why this course on relationship is going to teach us a whole lot. So everybody needs relationship. Basically, if you're in one, how do you keep it? How do you grow it? How do you keep the spice in it? And if you're single, looking, searching, hoping, missing one, want one, how do you build it?
Come on now.
And all this is going to be on scripture. All it's going to be in scripture. Like I said, it might be 6 to 8 weeks. But the relationship is going to help you beyond anything that you could know. Because sometimes you understand that why come a one-night stand don't stand because it was one night. And I know we've been taught through the musical industry. I think Lucas said if only for one night. But marriage wasn't a nighttime. It was a lifetime. Say amen, somebody. Another thing, a question I'm going to talk to y'all when we get into this series is, do you really know where your wife comes from spiritually?
Come on.
And you're going to find out some stuff, like in Genesis 1:27, it talks about how Adam was created in his image, and in him he created male and female. And some of y'all be like, well, wait a minute, hold on, because he didn't breathe into Adam's nostrils into the 2nd chapter, verse 7.
Come on.
But in the 1st chapter, verse 27, God created Adam in his image, and male and female. And so basically, what's happening in Genesis 1:27, that's talking about God created their spirits.
All right.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And then you go to Genesis 2:7, he's talking about the body.
All right.
And so when we find out how Eve came here, then you're going to be able to find out how you know where your wife came from spiritually if you wait on God. Come on, say amen, somebody. So we talk about that. And one thing I really need to talk about is when God brought Eve to Adam. Eve was presented.
Yes.
She didn't present herself. Come on, say amen, somebody. He was presented. And when something is presented to you as a gift, you treat it like a gift.
Come on.
Come on, say amen, somebody. So basically, because we know that every good and perfect gift comes from the Lord. So if you wait on the Lord to give you and to show you who he has for you, it can't help but be perfected if it came from the... But if you just found somebody and told God to bless mess, come on, say amen, somebody. That's why you end up in a shipwreck instead of a relationship. Say amen, somebody. So today we're gonna dive on that, because a lot of us we need to understand it's a whole thing that goes a lot to this, especially with this being presented, sisters. You know, presented. Allow God to present you, because and let me say this: God's perfect package of presentation. He presents you as a lady and as a woman. And a lot of times when you go in flesh, then you get attracted to what we call see-through packaging presentations. Come on, say amen, somebody. Because if God presents you, then he's going to get you into a relationship that's going to lead to triumph. And if you go after the see-through package, you're headed to a relationship that leads to tragedy. Say amen, somebody. So bottom line, in that point, bottom line, do you ultimately want victory in your relationship, or do you simply want Victoria's Secret, which fades after the moment it was displayed? Preach, pastor, say amen, somebody. So it's already tight and right. So we're going to start talking about relationships, amen. So, except the Lord build a house, thou labor in vain.
Come on now.
Positive potential is poisoned when we don't go and get it in the proper perspective. From the single and searching to the magnificently married, this provides a plan and path for correct construction of relationships. Y'all ready? Okay, let's work it out. Many of our present relationships, whether they are platonic, romantic, casual, or professional, they have resulted in more disconnections than connections. And this series has been designed to help provide criteria for correction from situations that led to disconnection. Say amen, somebody. First of all, stay away from allowing non-creators to hook you up.
Preach, pastor.
There's only one creator. And first thing, stay away from allowing folk who don't have any creator certification.
Come on, preacher.
To hook you up. They have no experience in creating.
Yes.
Because when somebody makes something, they take something to make something. But when you create nothing, you take nothing and make something out of nothing. And only God can do that. Say amen, somebody. When you're looking toward being connected to anybody, be very careful about your human lookout people. you even got some Christian Cubits in the church. And that's why you need to know that you need to seek God. Do y'all know how many sisters down through the years, I've been preaching since I was 12 and I got old enough, and they would say, the Lord told me you my husband.
What you say?
And I would be like, well, there's a problem with that, because if he told you, he would have told me. First, come on, say amen, somebody. Because I'm supposed to find you. And so if he told you, then. And so, and don't get so caught up on what's religious and what's spiritual. Let God do it. See, people don't understand religious, it's not spiritual. So it's like, anything you do consistently, some of you religiously wash your car. I hope you religiously brush your teeth. Religiously.
Yes, sir.
And so sometimes we get into this spiritual and this religious. No, let God, because when God presents it, it's going to be total. I know one time a sister, she said, oh, you gotta meet my niece, Pastor. You gotta meet, she perfect. I mean, she perfect. She already first lady built. She first lady. I didn't have church at the time. She perfect. Said all she do is lay before the Lord, read her Bible, seek God. That's all she do. I said, well, I know she went with my wife. That ain't all she. I'm just saying, we get to Earthwise. Come on, say amen, somebody. I ain't trying to look at the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Y'all ain't gonna help me today. Come on, say amen, somebody. I'm just being real. So her auntie canceled her out. All she do is read the Bible. All she do is lay before the Lord. Now, sometimes your husband wants you to lay before y'all ain't gonna help me today. How you real? Amen, amen. The man got up on that. Amen. Lord, Jesus. Brother Stan, them are the new husband. Them are the new husband. That 30 years from now with that same response. Amen, amen, amen. Amen. Yeah, I know how to get the brothers up. You all heard it. I met the perfect person for you. Oh my God, you just have to meet him. Y'all have so much in common. Y'all will be perfect. Just go out with them one time. Can I be real? Just go out with them one time. And then one time leaves you lost in space, trying to figure out how did they see me in that? What beverage were they consuming? What type of herb were they inhaling? Say that, somebody. When they thought to ask me to go out with this, say that, somebody. See, what's best for us is that when we get ready to look for the marriage or the relationship vehicle, we should always go back to the deal.
Preacher.
We should always go back to the divine dealer, our maker, our creator, and our God. Say amen, somebody. What's God's plan for the relationship is going to make it ultimate, and what my plan is going to take me under. Say amen, somebody. So let's go to the word. Genesis 2, verse 18. It said, and the Lord said, it is not good that the man should be alone. Now, y'all know I have to teach that correct, because as I was telling them on last Sunday stand, when I was younger and people were considering me for a pastor, and they didn't want to consider me because they said I was single. They said I wasn't married, and I don't know if they missed what Paul said, that sometimes it's good to be single. Let's just be real. Everybody ain't meant to be with somebody.
Come on.
And some of you might be meant, but you ain't meant yet. And so I like to teach this because they'll use that scripture saying, because it's biblical. God told Adam that it's not good for man to be alone. I said, well, first of all, God told Adam it was not good for the man. Now, wasn't nothing but one man. One man has been created. And ain't nothing but animals running around there. He don't want Adam with no hyena. He don't want Adam with no alligator. Come on, say amen, somebody. Adam can't be jumping up trying to hang on to the giraffe. Y'all ain't gonna help me there. Come on, say amen, somebody. But he says it's not good for The man. It's only one man. So how are you going to universalize that and say that's for all men? Now, if we all was there, if that was a million men there and he said it's not good for man, then he's talking about a surplus of men. But I'm saying right here, he said it's not good for that man. Come on, say amen, somebody. Be alone. So, remember, it's not speaking to all, because the word points out also, Paul says in 1 Corinthians, the 7th chapter, on the corner of the 8th verse, he says, I say therefore to the unmarried widows, it is good for them if they abide as I single. He was saying that I'm single, and it's good to abide as I. So in other words, if you're married, it's good, and if you're single, it's good. But whatever you are, you should have integrity.
Yeah, come on.
See, that's what happened with me. People were more concerned about image than integrity. They told me, stand and say, God, you just don't understand. It just looks so good. It looks real pastoral. Had a pastor and the first lady sit there and look pooches in the middle. And Michelle, I'm like, well, what if she can't have children? How unfair is that to her? And so I go to some places and they would elect a person and he'd be married 3 times. So he got 2 baby mothers, all this other stuff, 3 times. And so he's in violation of Scripture. I ain't in violation of Scripture because ain't no little WDBs running around. Come on, say amen, somebody.
Come on,
y'all see a little kid look like me, he just looked like me, but I tell you, ain't nobody running around. And so they were more interested in an image than integrity. And so you got to make sure that your interest is in the right place. So Paul says it's okay that some people are meant to be single. And God said in that episode it was not good for the man to be alone. So then God said, I'm going to make him and help me for him. Now, don't miss this. It says, God said, this is how I'm going to work it out. I'm going to make it. It does not say your girlfriend said it. It don't say your homeboy, your auntie who's so sweet. It doesn't say the love connection. It just say go get them singles.com. Come on, say amen, somebody. God said, I will do this. He says, I am going to make him, talking about Adam, a help me for him. Now, what we cannot afford to miss is how did he do it? So go to verse 21. And I love this. It said, and the Lord caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam. And Adam slept. That was the first instance that I found out of an anesthesian situation in the Bible. Anesthesian situation in the Bible. It's the first time. But and I love how he did it, Deacon Javier. It took 1. Not 2 or 3 of his ribs, y'all.
Well,
Relationships are meant to be monogamous. Say amen, somebody. I know in some countries you can get as many wives as you can afford. And some brothers in America say, I ain't got no problem with that because I can't afford but one. Preach, Pastor. Y'all hard. Y'all a hard crowd. Come on, say amen, somebody. Like, I can't afford but one. Amen. I want my wife in a Mercedes SUV 500. I want to, come on, say amen, somebody. I want to have triple decks on the back of the house. Come on, say amen, somebody. I don't know how they did that overseas. I don't know how Javier could have heaven in the house with 3 other women. Telling them it ain't her day. I don't know how that would work. Amen. Not the heaven I saw raised up. Say amen, somebody. Javier said, that one heaven is enough. Say amen, somebody. Amen. But he took 1, and after he took that 1, he closed him back up. And look at verse 22. And the rib which the Lord had taken from man, made he a woman. That's why I said when God created, he created Adam, Eve was made. Adam was created from nothing but God. Eve comes from a rib that comes outside of Adam. So Adam is created and Eve is made. Come on, say amen. I know y'all caught that. I just want to make sure y'all caught that. And he took them out, And he made the woman, and he brought her unto the man. Yes. Don't miss this. He presented her. Somebody say presented.
Presented.
God presented. If you want what comes in the package of what God gives, you have to wait and allow him to present it.
Yeah.
It has to be his gift if you want it to be a perfect gift, because every good and perfect gift comes from the Lord. So when God made Eve, she was perfect for him. And look at this, verse 23. And Adam said, this is now bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman because she was taken out of man. Now, that's how it really happened. I know sometimes they'll say that. And this may be true. Because you got to imagine you seeing all these animals. And you got to look at God created this sister. So and she perfect. So he said woman, but I can go along with, he probably did say, whoa, man. Because some of y'all went like that when, I can just see that when you look over there, I just saw Michelle say, y'all ever see me look like this, put that chin over here, whoa, man. And he said he's still, woo, 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 woo. Okay, anyway, so, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, because she was taken out of man. Now I want to give you something to chew on in consideration, all right? I want to give y'all a revelation. Check this out. The text says he brought her, or he presented her.
Come on.
Now you would think that, after that, it would look like after, Adam went to sleep, when he woke up, it would say that Adam said. But it said, now God put him to sleep, closed up his flesh, took the rib, and brought her to the man, and then Adam responded after God presented Eve to him. All right. So I want y'all to understand that Adam does not wake up until it's time for him to get his present. Okay. So it really does not matter, or you got all these folks trying to introduce you to somebody, it really does not matter who you bring to Adam.
Ooh, come on.
And all the brothers, I'm talking about all the brothers, it doesn't matter who you bring to Adam. He will be sleeping until the perfect one is presented. That's why you're in a relationship right now. He just act like he just sleeping. It don't matter to him. It don't mean nothing to him. Spiritually, Adam is not going to wake up and be the Adam he's supposed to be until the perfect one is presented. So you ought to tell somebody that's messed up, bro, maybe you need to go back to sleep.
Woo!
Lord, y'all are crying. Say amen, somebody. I'm just being real, because a lot of times, I know nobody here, but I know folk who have dated psychos. I know some people in here right now who don't even know the lady, but you would swear, if you swear, you should be swearing in the Bible, but you would say before anybody that whoever wrote "I'll bust the windows out your car," I knew her. Say amen, somebody. Come on, say amen, somebody. I mean, if you keep on dating all these crazy folk, stalking you, busting windows out your car, if you got to fight and kick and scrap for everything that you're seeking in a relationship,
come on.
I mean, and everything that you look at has nothing to do with spiritual, because you're so caught up in the fleshal. You're so caught up instead of actually got God in it, you won't actually think with it. Come on, say that to somebody. So Adam receives the gift, and when he receives the gift, he testifies about how he feels because of who it came from. He said, my God, she is bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. And I'm going to call her woman. Now, once again, Adam named her. And when Adam named her, he called her Eve, which is interchangeable for wife. Somebody say wife.
Wife.
Now, this is very specific. Wife. The Bible does not address side chicks because there shouldn't be any.
Preach, Pastor.
Or side chickens. We'll call a man a chicken. Come on, say amen, somebody. But it says wife. Somebody say wife.
Wife.
This is very significant because she was taken out of the man. And that's why the Bible says, therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother. Yes. Because you cannot be an Adam and be a man and be a husband and be a mama's boy. While I'm at that, how many of y'all still have the book, Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man? Okay, I need to borrow one of y'all's copy. I need to borrow it because I'm going to do a special message on that. I need to borrow that because, you know, Steve my friend and stuff, you know, but it's a whole lot of stuff in the book that don't align up with biblical. So I want to, you know, look at that book to help you get a keeper instead of a cookie. Okay, come on, say amen, somebody. Oh, Lord, y'all.
Preach faster.
And some of y'all right now, y'all in that season, you just want a cookie. Just let's be real. You don't want a keeper. I wish I had some help up in here. But let me go ahead on. You can't be a mama's boy because the Bible says leave and cleave.
Come on.
That ain't just one-dimensional, sisters. That ain't just physical location, but it's mental. Because you may move her to your house and still talking like your mama. It say leave and cleave. I tell brothers all the time, I said, I know you might like your greens the way mama cooked them, but it would behoove you, for my young people, be to your advantage. It would behoove you as a husband to sit and say, baby, could you put a little fat trees on it? Could you do this? Could you do this? Please don't say, I want it cooked like my mama.
Oh, Lord. You trying to get put out.
Because the next thing you know, she going to be packing so you can go home and live with your mama. Say amen, somebody. So leave and cleave, not just physically, but mentally. That's why I tell people all the time, I don't know how people can have multiple wives because every lady wants her kitchen a certain way. Some of them want their cans up here, some of them want down here. Can you imagine that? I thought about Abraham had 2 women in the same tent. Can you imagine they was fighting and scrapping every day? So it's kind of hard when you try to tell her mama her stuff, and she knows because this is her life. This is y'all's life. This is your house. So don't miss that. Leave and cleave, not just geographically, but you got to leave and cleave mentally. Say amen, somebody. So somebody can't say amen right now because they with somebody right now. You still trying to do it like his mama. Come on, say amen, somebody. But one thing you need to ask them, you know you're not marrying your mama, right? Come on, say amen, somebody. So mental. So the other thing there, help them newlyweds out, you have to stop talking to your mama and your daddy about your new business. Oh, come on, say amen, somebody. Amen. I got a special course that I give to married couples, and this is a special counseling for in-laws, because in-laws can be outlaws. Come on, say amen, somebody. They can be rough. As a mother-in-law, she ought to be your best friend, not your biggest enemy. Come on, say amen, somebody. That's a whole other sermon within itself. Leave and cleave. Why? Because you one flesh. And when you one flesh, you become one. They were leaving yesterday, Thursday, when Mr. Manuel and Lady Michelle was going out. I think you saying, I'm working. And Michelle say, Lady Michelle say, yeah, but we won, so we work. and ladies, y'all ought to say, man, because, you know, if we working, we spend the check because we won. Come on, say amen, somebody. Ain't no my check and your check and that check and that check. When you become one flesh, you might disagree, and you might disagree on philosophical means, but that's not how God said it. So it should be one bank account. Come on, say amen, somebody. It should be one setup. Come on, say amen, somebody. It should be one. They was arguing about that on the radio the other day about, you know, should you be separate and split everything down the middle? Well, that ain't a wife. That's a roommate. Come on, say amen, somebody. Because when you split it down the middle and say you making 70% and you making 30, yours down the middle is 15. So you don't know where the other 35, y'all ain't gonna help me today. You don't know where the other 35 at. Come on, say it, man, somebody. Back in the day, that's how the older brothers used to get in trouble. I didn't know what they was talking about, Stan, but they was talking about when the eagle flies on Friday. I didn't know what that meant, that when they got paid. The eagle flew on Friday, and Daddy stopped by 3 or 4 houses. Come on, say it, man, somebody. Now let's let me say this. This ain't the extra. This is not that I say this to deadbeat fathers, because I don't know any that are here. That's why I always take up for y'all. Get up off of it. I know these brothers, but I say this: not that it's right, but if we go back to some of our great-grandfathers and great-great-grandfathers, we will find out not only did grandmama have 15 kids, there were 8 others. Come on, say it, man, somebody. So things have been around. But one thing, even though it wasn't right, one thing that I could admire about them is that if they had to sneak it, hide it, every one of their kids were going to eat. And now, in this day, you out on the basketball court, how many shorties you got? Man, I got 20 shorties, yeah! And they ain't paying none one of them because you playing basketball. If you got 20 shorties, come on, say that somebody. You ain't got time to play ball, you ain't got time to walk down the street, you ain't got time to sniff or nothing. You should be working. And so that's the situation I tell brothers right now. At least they took care of theirs. But they didn't go. And I mean, it was. I mean, you go to some of these funerals and it is an eye shocker. You back there wondering why she's screaming louder than you. Like, that's my daddy. You ever been there? You ever go to the funeral and you found out all these brothers you didn't know?
Well, all right now.
I'm not just talking about y'all. I'm not just talking about y'all. Me, Penny, Rhonda, Gibb, we grew up four of us. It's always been 4 of us. And my sister, my older sister, she's the adventurous one. Stan, she done found out about 8 brothers and sisters. I said, I got Penny. I got you. That's all I know. Ain't nobody here to defend all these other ones that you done found. Come on, say it, man, somebody. But that's a whole other subject. Let me get back on this. Believe and cleave. Leave and cleave. You got to do that. You can't get around that. But you got to leave and you got to cleave. And so relationships, you have to understand that if you don't build it correctly from the outset, then you're going to have problems in the end.
Yes.
I guarantee you right now, if you were really honest and when you came out of a raggedy relationship or a raggedy marriage or whatever, I guarantee you, if you asked yourself the question, was it God sanctioned? You would say to yourself, I can't lie. It was not. So a lot of times, we blame God for stuff that's our fault. How God let me get with a fool? How you let me get with somebody busting my head? He was busting your head before y'all got married. You wasn't going to stop because y'all got married. And so a lot of times, if we go back, that's why I always try to minister to divorced couples, because some of the divorced couples are some of the most segregated, some of the most stowed out there people you'll ever meet. Because they act like, it's just trash, it's just bad. First of all, the Bible, God is clear on what God has put together. Yes, sir. Let nobody put asunder. We keep forgetting the first word. What God. Because a lot of stuff that was a shipwreck, God didn't put it together. And we already know, except the Lord build a house, thou labor in vain. So you're going to sit here and tell somebody because they made a bad choice or because they made a bad decision that God can forgive Moses, who murdered a man. Moses murdered a man, buried him in the sand like God was going to see through the sand. Come on, say that, somebody. How you going to be on the beach and all this sand and then you get to this one part, it's just a perfect body. Y'all rough. So God can forgive murder. Moses got so mad, slammed the tablets down. David, a man after God's own heart. In the end. But in the beginning, player, pimping king. You remember looking over the balcony and saw that sister taking a bath? And he sent to her. At first when I read it, I thought maybe he just sent her for to see if she's all right. Come on, say amen, somebody. And then maybe he sent for her because she was taking a bath, and her name was Bathsheba. He wanted to get the connection. Come on, say amen. Somebody, I don't know. But Noah was a drunk. David was a murderer. Paul used to kill Christians for a living. And he wrote over 3/4 of the New Testament. Moses, talking about all of these folk that God forgave them, and they did not take off until after their mess. Tell somebody the miracle came after their mess. The miracle came after the mess. So how you gonna sit here and beat somebody up because they are divorced because they made a bad decision, a bad choice, and so you got to live the rest of your life getting your head busted, getting cussed out, getting treated like crap, you are God's child.
Come on.
You're made just a little lower than the angels, so you should be treated like a queen, and you should be treated like a king in somebody's thing. Preach, Pastor. So I have to minister, and the church is really, the church is notoriously, notoriously guilty of this. And we need to understand, because it's like in the military. The first thing they do in the military, when they come in the Air Force, you really need to get married. They 18. They can't even spell married. A family is not something that you just throw together. A family is something that God is involved with. So what family you get to when I was at Scott, and somebody be like a staff sergeant, and they be, this is my third husband, Jesus. But you got to realize it's because of the choices. Because the only common denominator was the person. So it's the choice. So you can't sit there and throw people under the bus and tell them that God cannot use them. God will not do all of this when they have repented. And say, God, I messed up. He looked good. He had a 6-pack, 12-pack, 24-pack, whatever pack he had, whatever pack she had, pack and stack. Come on, say it with somebody. But it had nothing to do with spiritual. It was all dealing with physical and on that end. So I just want to say that word to the people in here that may have had a marriage that did not work. I'm going to explain this, and then I'm going to go on to next week. Look at verse 27. It said, God made man together. He made them both male and female alike. Now, some people use that scripture and twist it all kind of ways, and I ain't even got time. You have to come to Bible study. I ain't got time to go into all that. But when it said God made man and woman together first, he made them both male and female alike. It's not saying that God made a freak of nature. What it is saying is that God made their spirits first. When I look at this from an intellectually vacuum, wait a minute. God, he made them both male and female alike. He didn't make them a freak of nature. He made their spirits first. See, in the creation, as far as bodies, God made man first. God, when he created Adam, it was from the dirt, from the dust. He made Adam's body, called Adam. I say amen, somebody. So when God first created the man, he placed within the man the spirit of the man and the spirit of the woman. So spiritually, guess where your wife is?
Ooh, come on now.
You look at it.
Yes, sir.
See, I know a lot of us, we get messed up because we think what we need and what we want is out there. But what you're looking for already came from in here.
Ooh, preach.
See, that's why we get in trouble, because a lot of us are not willing to wait on God. A lot of time, if God said he's going to do it, if God said he's going to make it happen, you have to trust God. Because anytime I step out of righteous rotation, I come into a situation of devastation. Don't you remember when he told Abraham, he said, hey, you and Sarah, y'all have a son, and he's gonna be all of this. And so, they looking at, okay, I know that God is able, but we way past AARP. We almost double. I mean, come on. God tell your grandmama, she 80, 82, and your granddaddy, he 91. And they tell y'all, I know y'all ain't ready for this, but God came to me and mama. You know, when you get old, when you're real old, you go call your wife mama. I never understood that. Mama. So I you ever know everybody call mama daddy. Come on, say amen, somebody. But y'all make me lose my thought. Come on, say amen, somebody. But what was I saying? Y'all maybe. Oh yeah, they came to and if they come and say they're gonna have a baby, you would look at them like they were crazy. And so when God says it, no matter, it's not for me to figure out how he's going to do it, because he's a God that he would not lie. And so, I mean, they thought, you know, in the physical. You know, well, okay, you know, God said it, but, you know, maybe he was talking about a surrogate mother. You know, maybe God, that ain't what God said. God said, y'all gonna have. And so they did what a lot of us do. They tried to help God out. Tell somebody, God don't need no help. So all of a sudden, you know, they go and get this little slave girl, and I still pray. I still pray for Abraham to this day, because a lot of y'all, once again, sisters, y'all didn't read the scripture. Y'all didn't read the scripture. It was Sarah's idea. It was Sarah's idea to go ahead. Now, Steve, I felt sorry for Abraham, because I don't believe Abraham wanted to. Maybe it's just my sanctified imagination. But I just believe Abraham. No, Sarah, no. No, I mean, I know the love handles and got more wrinkles and straight. I know all of that, Sarah said, but this little, that little tenderoni, that little fine thing, look like she work out 24/7 over there. I can't do it, because you my Sarah. But because he wanted to keep peace in the house, he forced himself. Y'all ain't gonna help me today. Y'all help me out, brothers. No, Sarah, no. No, Sarah. I don't want to go over with Beyonce. I want to stay over Grace Jones. No, Sarah. No, Sarah. Don't push me over to Angela Bassett. No.
Glory.
If Abraham was Hobby Ham, and heaven was Harold, and she's saying, we're old, and I want you to go in there with that young thing, and Hobby, just like you do, Hobby always said, the devil is a liar. Say,
Yes, sir.
y'all don't think that was the case? But I'll stop right there, because I got some stuff that's deep and it's going to take me next Sunday. But after they tried to help God out, it became a hot mess. I think that's when they first started them jokes. Because, you know, that's what happened. It was at a birthday party, I think, and so the young girls, you know, son and Sarah there, and you know, Sarah, she could barely walk. And I could just see the two kids making jokes. Your mama's so old, joke. Come on, say amen, somebody. Y'all know how the kids, they brutal. Your mama's so old, you know, and so it got ugly. It got ugly. But one thing, Lady Ross, you need to understand, God is going to always stand for right. Because Abraham had to tell her she had to leave. Because they stepped outside of God's will. And God still blessed them, but God still had to do what was right. And so they had an Ishmael because they stepped out of waiting on an Isaac. And so all I'm saying to you is that when God makes the call, and when God promises you, you have to be faithful enough to stay in the right position
Yeah.
Until God brings it to you. And when God brings it to you, you don't have to fix it up. When I do marital counseling, I know when they leave that office who gonna make it and who ain't gonna make it. And I'll tell you. But most of the time, you already printed your invitations and told all your cousins and everybody flying in from all over the country, and so I don't want to be embarrassed. And so we go right ahead. And then next thing you know, we in people's court. So all I'm saying to you all is if you want your relationship to be a right ship, God has to be the center of the ship. Psalms 127:1, except the Lord build the house. Because you can build a ship, and this is a beautiful ship. It looks like it's built for anything. But we don't remember this ship for being a beautiful ship. We remember for this being a beautiful ship that sunk. And people lost their lives. And a lot of times right now, you're in a relationship and your ship is sinking because you're on a ship that was manufactured. Did y'all catch that? We have relationships that are manufactured.
All right.
And you want yours to be God-you-factored. Because if it ain't God-you-factored, I don't care what you drive or whatever. Anytime it's man-made, it's going to break down.
Well,
I done seen Mercedes and BMW, Jaguars. They over to the side of the highway. And you being so doggone well. But at the end of the day, it was manufactured. And with man, there comes limitations. With God, you can get the highest aspiration. Give God some praise. Amen. Relationships part 1. Hold on to your seats for part 2. It's going to get deep. It's going to get deep. How you treat your queen. How you treat your queen. Do you open the door or do you let it slam on her face? Come on, say amen, somebody. A lot of our young boys, they are in trouble because just like young ladies grow to be what they see, the same thing with a young man. I tell people in the church all the time, if you're 3 or 4 years of age and you know how to walk and talk, if 100 ladies walk through that door, you better be caught holding it. But it's kind of hard for me to do that when his daddy don't do it for his mama. So I'm the second source. And so all I'm saying, when you get into this relationship course, don't just say, well, I don't do all that. I don't do all that. If you should be doing it, let that chapter be the last time you didn't do all that. Because I'm telling you, when we get into this, the Bible says, husbands submit yourselves and all that stuff. People don't understand that, first of all, before the wives submit yourself to your husband, it tells y'all to submit to each other. They forget about that. They go straight to it. But you just think about it. Submit means that she's trusting you to cover her like God would cover her. And if you loving on her from the time she wake up, if you're making her feel like a queen, you're making her feel like royalty, you won't have all of the issues. But when she didn't work as hard as you did, and you come there and you working and you help the kids do their homework and you change the diapers, and instead of him saying, I got the kid, how long did it over here? Come on, say amen, somebody. And then you come after that, you want to go upstairs for some air rocks. Come on, say amen, somebody. There ain't no air rocks. And if you smart, you go there, you help her wash the dishes.
well, come on.
While she's seasoning the food, you go there and say, I got little Johnny with his homework.
Well, come on
As
now.
soon as she get done, y'all ain't gonna help me today. You tell the kids, go to sleep. Y'all get dessert tomorrow. Come on, say man, somebody. So ain't no problem. Now the other part is this. When you don't operate under the word of God, you forfeit your rights as the husband.
Woo, come on now.
She ain't gonna be submitting to you, but you ain't submitting to him.
Woo!
And the Bible says you love her like Christ loved the church, which means that you would die for her. Which means that if you're walking down the street and a truck is coming and one of y'all are about to get hit, you don't think about who has the highest policy. You push her out the way and you take the bus for the team. That you still got to think about that. You ain't ready for marriage. Come on, say it for somebody. Some of y'all like, I don't know, man. Shoot, wait a minute, hold on. Come on, say it for somebody. At least y'all being honest. But I'm saying, but I'm saying, you're going to have a lot of fun in this series, but at the same time, if you listen, you're going to learn a lot. You're going to learn a lot. And believe me that your wife or your significant other, they will immediately notice the difference. And when you change in that way, they're going to change in a whole lot of other ways that you will be happy about. Give God some praise, amen. I extend the invitation today. Does anyone here, looks like we're all family. But is anyone here that has not accepted Christ or gave your life? Just want to let you know we're a great place to be. We preach a word that's a rhema word. It's relevant. It's right. Sometimes it's even wrong. But I tell you what, it's going to be biblically based. And as much as I tease, you'll get nothing else. You need to go home and look at every relationship in your life, whether it be platonic or romantic, and say, did God do this? Is God at the center of this? God ain't at the center of no craziness. You know, there's somebody every time you look up, y'all fighting and cussing each other out and doing all that. That's not a God-centered relationship. That's craziness. So I'm going to tell you, this week go home, look at every relationship that you have and ask yourself, if I be honest with myself, is God at the center? Because only when God is in it can I win it. Give God some praise. Give it up, Let me say this again before we do this. I just wanted to say this, and I'll probably put it on our in-house page. You all know how our building is built. We have like about 5 or 6 furnaces, but all of those furnaces go to the rear parts of the building. When they built this building, they were old school, and they built it where the sanctuary and the basement runs on oil. So in the wintertime, we have to get the oil. And that oil costs like $500 a fill up. That's in the wintertime. Now we let go of the grass bill, but the grass bill was only $160. But we inherit the oil bill. And as it gets cold, we have the ice. I want y'all to know that, because I want y'all to understand that everybody needs to be given something. And I'm saying that because that's an expense that comes every winter. And a lot of times people are like, I didn't know. But I want you all to know. Because if you've been here and your name has never been guilty of being on an envelope or giving something, I want y'all to know, I'm not one of those pastors. You never hear me going on about giving. I don't start no lines. I don't get a salary. And I make major sacrifices. I want to retire, which is almost a fourth of what I made. Because I got to reach the minimum retirement age to even get that. And my major money, I can't get it for 59, so I got to keep waiting. But I still give 20% to my church. So all I'm saying to you all is take that under consideration. If you look at the church, it's beautiful. I mean, there are renovations. The insurance company came by here the other day, and they were blown away. When they went up and saw chandeliers, what it cost. Like, we just changed all of the bulbs in these chandeliers so that we don't have to change them so often. We got LEDs. But you know how much LEDs cost. You won't pay, but you have to know how many chandeliers we cost. So I just want y'all to know, the Lord has blessed us to be one of the most fiscal, responsible churches you would ever find out. But we got to be doing the right thing. So, and I'm not talking about something that you shouldn't be doing anyway. But I'm saying we have responsibilities. We want to keep those responsibilities. And I don't want y'all coming here talking about why it's cold. Because heat is just like running your car. You just let it run. And so that tank We had to feel it today. We'll probably have to feel it next month. But that's an expense that's not budgeted. And it's hard to have a budget when you don't know what folks going to do anyway. Say amen, somebody. So y'all, I hardly ever have these conversations, but I want you all to know that this building and the basement, if you go to the basement, you'll freeze if this heat ain't on. It takes care of here, and then all the rest of the building. Now, we still got 5 or 6 furnaces back. I think it's 7 furnaces. So when we back up, we got to my nose. So now we got a heating and an oil bill. If we get snowed out, we got to have snow removal. So all I'm saying is that when you think about, I ain't putting nothing in, if you like being warm, you like the lights being on, come on, say amen, somebody. So I'm just saying, I just want to encourage you to do what you should do. Do what you should do. I'm not going to ask you to make the sacrifices that I made. I'm making major sacrifices. I'm making a major sacrifice right now. When our roof went off, and I never even shared this with all of y'all, when the roof, we got took for the roof back there for $20,000, and the guy ran off with the money, and I went in my retirement and took $20,000 of my retirement money out to fix the roof. And of course, everybody said, Pastor, we ain't gonna let you do that by yourself. We gonna help you. Anyway, the same few. But what happened is when I retired, all of that money became due immediately. I thought they could go into my pure savings and take it out of there. That's not the case. So they taxed it as income. So now I've got to not only pay $20,000 for the roof, but I've got to pay $8,000 to the IRS because of that. So I'm paying the IRS $125 every month. I won't get an income tax return for years until they get up their money. So I want y'all to think y'all let her, because people like they put up outside and say, oh, they doing good. Look what he's driving. That's 31 years with the. That's 31 years. But I'm still sacrificing. All these new TVs, your pastor, that keyboard you playing, your pastor. That organ, the fourth of that, your pastor. So I want to let y'all know that even though it's been a struggle and I have been cut severely, because right now all I do is pay my bills and take care of God. Every now and then I get to do something for me. So all I'm saying, I'm not asking you all to make sacrifices that I'm already not making double and triple. Because none of y'all, as long as you've been here, you never knew about that IRS payment. But I can pay the $20,000 and on top of that, because they tax my income. And they don't care that about me being retired. So a lot of stuff I didn't find out about retirement until after I retired. I didn't know if I was supposed to get a supplement stand. They said, well, you still got to be the minimum retirement age of 56. I said, why you ain't tell me? I stayed 3 or 4 more years. They told me that after. So I got to wait on that. And then the money I've been saving all my life, that thrift saving, that nice chunk, can't touch it till I'm 59. So that's all I'm saying. I'm just asking you all. I don't say a whole lot of stuff, but I'm not going to let anybody sacrifice more than me. But I need for you to do your part. If God ain't gave you nothing, you don't owe him nothing. But if you have any type of income, whether it's fixed or unfixed, it's still an income. And if God bless you with an income, there should be an outcome. No income, say that somebody. That's all I'm going to say about it, but I do, especially with this oil. This is something, and I hope we don't ever have to have this conversation again, but I just want to let y'all know the hits that I take. Because I would let my lights in my house get cut off before anything would happen in God's house. That's the way I've always been. That's the way I've always been. But I think it's only fair to ask you to do your part. Give God some praise. Amen.
Good afternoon, Faith House. Would everyone please stand and recite the Faith House offertory prayer together? Lord, help me to do what's right and not what's left. Pray your word in Malachi 3:10a. Bring all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be meat in mine house. I understand it's a simple plan. A tenth off the top of everything that you bless me with, which includes my time, my talent, and financial resources. I righteously recognize every good and perfect gift comes from you. If I don't take anything in, I'm not required to give anything out. It's not equal giving, but it is equal sacrifice. My tithe is not what I give or pay, that's all. It is what I owe, that's my tithe. God, present my gift according to your will, your way, and most of all your word. And my tithes and offerings faithfully, consistently, most of all cheerfully. Lord, thank you for helping me grow to know that receiving is activated by giving, as Luke 6:38 demonstrates. In the name of Christ I give and I live. Amen.
Would everyone please remain standing and exit choose at the direction of the usher?
I'm asking y'all to excuse me as I get ready to go dress and get down to the award ceremony and ask Reverend if he'll dismiss. So I've got to get down there for this award ceremony for the kids, and y'all forgive me. Happy birthday, bro. All right, man. 41?
Okay, so we are building a new web page, and Deacon Sean needs to take pictures of all leaders and including our mothers. So if you're available today, he wants to take a picture immediately after service. If not, then definitely next week. So, I don't know where Deacon Sean. Okay, so either way, see Deacon Sean before you leave today and let him know if you're taking your picture today or next week. Okay? And, okay. So our basic announcements. Don't forget about 7 Seeds. Of course, 7 Seeds is how we take care of renovating the building and purchasing light bulbs. You'd be surprised how many light bulbs were out. And I think it cost us almost $200 just to replace the light bulbs throughout the place. So that's what the 7 Seeds does. When we do 7 Seeds, it's $1 a week above your tithes and offerings, or $7 a week above your tithes and offerings. That's what it does. It takes care of basic things like that. I know some of us have kind of got a little lax with our 7 Seeds or what have you, but when we don't have 7 Seeds funds, then it means we have to go to general funds and do it. So I want to encourage all of the Faith House, even if you can't do $7 a week, put something in 7 Seeds so that we don't have to go to general funds to take care of the basic needs of the church and of the transportation of the van. Our van is paid for, but you have to get an oil change and blades change and tires and things like that, just like you do in your own vehicle. So it's the same thing with the church van. So please consider donating for 7 Seeds. Don't forget about the Faith House food drive all year. We have different baskets here that we ask that when you go to the store, if you make purchases for non-perishables, that you bring something here, just in case there is a family here that has a need We don't require that anybody come and turn in anything for that, just that it's available, and if somebody needs it, it's there where they can get it. And so usually as we come up on the Thanksgiving and Christmas time of year, it just seems that things get a little tougher for families, and so just remember that when you're making your purchases at the grocery store. Events for the week, we have Tuesday Teach Time, of course, Tuesday Teach Time. Of course, Pastor is going to continue the series on relationships. Of course, on Tuesday nights, he dives into it a little deeper, so we get a little bit more than what's presented here on Sunday. So I encourage you to come to Tuesday Teach Time. And then on Thursday, we will have choir rehearsal and praise team rehearsal. So choir rehearsal will start at 7 o'clock. Praise team rehearsal is immediately following choir rehearsal. And so, if you want to sing in the choir, we invite you to come. And then let's make Sunday school a priority every Sunday morning at 9:30 when you know you grow. Church beautification. This week is hospitality and admin. And we will clean on Thursday at 7 o'clock, with the ushers following the next week on Friday at October 26th at 6:30. Don't forget, we have the 15th pastoral anniversary coming up. Woo! We haven't set the exact date yet. We're working on that, trying to get in a venue. And so once I get the venue issue resolved for the banquet, then we will get a concrete date on when that will be. So expect that to happen next week. Trying to put together a package where we may be able to go back to the St. Clair Country Club. And so if we can do that, then that is what we're looking at. So I should have that finalized next week. So with the committee, we won't meet today. We will meet next week. And so that'll give me a chance to get all that finalized, get packages together, and who's going to do what. And then so we will kick it into full gear and trying to get everything else resolved for the anniversary. Don't forget, we have the Dump Your Change campaign. And what we ask for that is that just the sacrifice of one day. I say Saturday night, because you come to church Sunday morning. I'm a person, I save my change. It has worked for me for years. When I go to the store, I never present the exact change. I give a 10. If it's $4 and something, I give a 5 because I'm going to get that change back. If it's $10 and something, I give that change. I give them $11. And so I'm asking that we take one day, just one day, and do that, and then bring the change. And what we're going to do is we hope to get $1,500 in here is what I hope. Just an example of how it can work for you. I don't always bring my change and bring it in here every Sunday, but I'm accumulating it at home. So then a couple weeks ago, it was just amazing how it worked. Evan was doing the same thing. We both happened to come, we had a bowl filled with change. Well, I counted mine before I came, it was almost $50 within a 4-week period of me. I'm telling you how quick the change will grow. And so if all of us, it's like, what a blessing it would be for our pastor if we could just do that. So I'm asking just one day, just one day a week, just sacrifice your change and bring it in. That's what the Dump Your Change is for. It's going to be one of the gifts that we'd like to present to Pastor for his 15th anniversary. This week, we're going to have the Fall Festival. It's Saturday from 12 to 3. I think Kia had a list of that she needed for people to bring. I'm not sure what it is, so I'm going to ask her to post it on the Facebook page. I know that they were looking for different chili and different things to go with that because it's going to be for the community. We're going to have people to come and we're going to give away clothes and different things of that nature. The same thing we normally do every fall. We just do it a little bit later. Usually we do it like in September. We're going to do it here in the parking lot. We're going to feed people. We're going to give them clothes. We're going to give them all those school supplies and things. We got a ton of school supplies left. So we're going to give all that stuff to anybody that's hungry and that needs it. And so if you want to bring a pot of chili or a pot of soup or crackers or anything to help contribute to that, then we ask that you come and bring it. And I'm thinking we're going to need it here at least by 11 o'clock if we're going to have the festival from 12 to 3. I know that there are going to be games and things set up too and activities for all of our young people. So asking that everybody invite your family and friends to come We're putting out flyers here in the community, so hoping that we'll get a good turnout. Reverend, do you have anything you need to add to that?
This week, sometime I'll be sending out an email if anybody wants to go out to our community and knock on the doors, just introduce ourselves and just try to get the community to know what we're here and what we're doing. So if you want to do that, let me know after we get through, and that'll be a good time. We go out maybe Wednesday or Thursday, and that way people won't, if you go out too early, people put it in somewhere, but if you go out, a couple days before the event, then they remember to say, hey, we're gonna go to that, on Saturday. So that's what we're looking for, and also looking to help people. There's some people out there that might need clothes, might need school supplies. We wasn't able to do our normal one this year because the lot that we normally do it on, they're redoing that whole lot. They're tearing down the buildings and everything, so they kind of do that all. So when Ms. Kia came up with, to do that, I said, man, let's do that. I'd love to do that. So we're gonna have to close out on the parking lot. So if you know anyone that's in need, that'd be a great time for them to come. They can get a free bowl of chili, hang out with the kids, and also get clothes. Amen.
Okay, and so we got a lot of stuff going on, y'all. So make sure you take your notes because we got a lot of things coming up in the next few days. Then we have Project Girl Code. Kevin, you want to come and talk about Project Girl Code?
So Project Girl Code is something that Jens does every year. What it is, we help out Covenant House of St. Louis, and this year we're also helping out Extended Hands in Ferguson, Missouri as well. So with Covenant House, a lot of these are our homeless teens. A lot of these teenagers, when they turned 18, some of their parents went in front of the Covenant House, dropped them off and said, hey, they don't have a job, they can't pay bills in my house, they're 18, they gotta go. And this is a shelter that kind of helps them get jobs, helps them get back on their feet. But every year we try to get as many hygiene products for these young ladies as much as possible. Extended Hands has reached out to Jens this year as well. So all I'm asking, I know we're asking for a lot within these next couple months. If you are in the grocery store, or if you are in Walmart, if you are in the dollar store, and you pick up 5 items, maybe shampoo, some body wash, deodorant, ladies, we know what hygiene products we need. Anything, we ask if you could donate it between starting now and mid-November. If whatever you can donate, because these teens come with nothing. Sometimes they come with just a trash bag full of clothes with what their parents will let them leave with. Or they're running away from broken homes or anything of that nature. So whatever hygiene products you can donate, or if you want to just say, here's $5, go get whatever you can with $5, it will really, really be a blessing to these teenagers to have these supplies that they can get from. Because this Covenant House and Extended Hands provide these people with all of these things. It's just like a place that they can visit at night to go and get soap and things of that nature. So we take it for granted how much we're blessed. So we just ask that you donate some hygiene products every Sunday. Thanks.
One other thing we can do for that is, you know how we go on vacation and you go to the hotel and there are shampoos, conditioners, and all that stuff, right? We usually leave it.
Yeah.
Don't leave it.
Don't leave it.
Bring it. And then we can put it in the basket and give that to them, because we all go somewhere at some point. So as we're collecting that, then we can make sure that we put it in there. Because I don't know what it is to be homeless, and I pray to God I don't ever have to know what it is. And so just, if nothing else, let's do that. On the 27th, we're going to celebrate pastors or clergy appreciation at Colton's at 3 p.m. We were originally going to do it yesterday, and we changed the date to the 27th. Now, we need to know how many people will be attending, so that Lady Darla can make a reservation and let the people know. So by show of hands, how many plan to attend Colton's at 3 o'clock on the 27th?
Collinsville.
And then the next day, on Sunday, the 28th, we will have Faith House 14th Church Anniversary. So we will have First Baptist Church from St. Louis, and Pastor Henry Bidget is the serves as the pastor. We will have them here for our 14th anniversary. And so, Lady Mike, I'm drawing a blank. Were we going to serve dinner that day? We are serving dinner that day. Okay, so then be mindful, and then next week be prepared to let us know what you'll bring. So we're gonna probably build around fried chicken or something of that nature. So, you know, we usually, the church will prepare the meat, or provide the meat, and then we bring the sides. So that'll be Sunday, the 28th at 3 o'clock. Then on the 31st, of course, the world calls it Halloween. We're gonna have a trunk or treat instead. Oh,
Yeah, because, can I say something? We were gonna originally have the trunk or treat, but since we're having the fall festival, it's kind of almost not quite similar. It's just it's got a lot going on, and usually it's cold because I think last year it was cold. One year we had the trunk or treat; it was a little cool, so we ended up bringing it inside. So we're basically gonna have just a hallelujah movie night, and I'm still asking that you donate your candies and whatever items that we have that night for that night. So we'll still have fun. It just won't be out here because it'll be cold, and I just don't like to have to tax people because, like Kevin said, we have a lot going on. So having the fall festival this week and turning around having something out there again, you know, I thought that was a little extra.
so if we're doing movie night, are we asking you to still dress up?
They can dress up, yeah,
Okay.
I wouldn't take that away.
Okay, so is it from 6 to 8? Okay, so it is from 6 to 8. We are allowing them to wear costumes. We are asking for candy and anything else that they want.
I apologize for that.
Okay.
Playoffs this week.
Okay. Now, leaders, with that said, we have got to do better. We have announcements that we prepare on Thursday so that it can be given to Deacon Sean so that it can be displayed. So we need to take inventory on Sunday before we leave, right? Amen? Of our departments. And we need to make sure that any announcements that need to be changed, we need to make sure that it is in on Thursday. So that, because you know, we do things right. And we do things well. So let's make sure we keep that going. That's okay. That's okay, because I was going to say that today anyway. It wasn't just that. I was going to say that anyway. So it's like, because on the run of a Sunday morning, it is busy trying to get ready for service. So let's just make sure we do that today before we leave. Inventory your departments, and then make sure we have announcements so that we can get them to Deacon Sean so that they can be displayed. Because that'll help people to remember. Because if you notice, a lot of them are not showing up on the screen, and then people forget, and then they're emailing, and then, oh, so Catherine, by the way, can you get this or that? So Catherine's mine will be 55 if God is willing on November 1st. So you cannot tell me that we need some stuff in plastic. I need to have your inventory sheet so that I can go to the store and get it, amen? So that we can make sure that we have it. So, women's ministry. Saturday, November 10th, we're going to have our first women's ministry starting up again for the fall. We're going to be at Lady Darla's house. Please let her know. We're going to be there at 3 o'clock. Please let her know if you plan to attend. It's very informal. We come together and we just love on one another, and we fellowship in confidence and lean on our sisters. And so Heaven has her hand up. Oh, okay, that's okay, that's okay. Oh, that's okay, you were ready. Okay, that's good. Darla, do you need a show of hands who plans to attend? Because that'll help you with your numbers to know who's coming.
Well, sure.
Okay, so anybody that plans to attend the women's ministry, like I said, it is informal, but we have a lot of fun. We really enjoy it. And so you want to come to that. And then we don't ask that you bring anything, just show up, and you can bring a friend. You know, just that it's one way we can even build our fellowship here at the church, because if it's good for you, then it's good for your friends and your family. So, you got your number, Lady Dawn, for that? Okay, amen.
And I'll give the address out when we get closer to the date, so
And then don't forget about the prayer list. If you have someone that you need to add, make sure you let me and Lady Darla know. We will add them to the prayer list. And don't forget that we need your information by Thursday for the announcements. Remember, there's no eating or drinking allowed in the sanctuary. Now, with that said, too, we were cleaning and we found a ton, and I won't say what row it was. And we were cleaning, and there was a ton of sunflower seeds. And it was a ton of sunflower seeds where usually adults sit. Not young people. You know, we get a little hungry. But if you get here a little bit early, you might be able to get a donut because they have them in Sunday school. That's right. And we have a little something before service starts. But please do not eat sunflower seeds in the sanctuary.
Praise God.
Don't even bring them to church.
Exactly.
Don't even bring them to church.
Amen. What? Well, yeah. I mean, but donuts are usually less, so even if you don't come to Sunday, they're just saying. We would like for you to, but amen. Just don't eat in the sanctuaries where I am at this point. It's not with the sunflower seeds and things of that nature. Amen. And do we have any birthdays, anniversaries? Brother Steve had a birthday. Did they do your birthday song already?
No.
Oh, Danielle. Okay.
Pastor Ron.
Birthdays real fast. Last week we talked about breast cancer awareness. I posted something on our Facebook page. In addition, last Sunday I spoke about it in support of breast cancer awareness for the month of October. We're asking everyone next Sunday to support breast cancer awareness by wearing pink. So just a reminder, I will post it on our page as well.
Man, did everybody hear? Lady Sophia is asking us to wear pink this week. Men too. Men. Okay, so we'll wear pink next week.
We'll get some pink ribbons.
All for our announcements this week. Thank you for your patience. I know we had a whole lot this week, but we wanted to make sure that we cover everything. Thank you. Reverend.
Sing your birthday?
I'll text you
Okay, I can say it though. Still, you want me to say it? I say it when I'm fine. Now you call me. All right, but listen. It's wonderful to be in Faith United. I praise God for all of you. And you're very special to me and my family. Pastor Brown, he's going down to the children's home. I'll be following right after. We go down there to the children's home. And we had a lot of different things talking about giving. And if you read your Bible in Matthew chapter 25, starting in verse 35 through 40, the first verse says, I was hungry and you gave me meat. See, God expects the church to provide those needs to the community. He blesses us so we can bless them, right? Who in here wants to be blessed? So, you know what? I know it's a lot of times we're asking about different things. Pastor Brown has a heart for people, just like at the children's home. I'm going to go down there and take a check down there today. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really need to tell you that I was going to do that, but I'm just telling you, they won't survive if people don't support them. And I think that's a very important program because a lot of those kids get out of school, and if they had to just go home, oh man, it might be trouble. They might not even eat, you know? And so that center provides protection. It provides, safety. They also have tutoring. They have all types of things. So even $5 a month would be helpful. You know, and if it's 1 million people to give 500, it's a blessing. And it costs a lot of money for that center to happen. But all the things that we're doing, all the things that Sister Catherine and everybody talked about, and Lady Heaven, everyone talked about, they're very important. And I know that it might seem that it's a lot, but it's really not. If we just do our part, and every church does their part, it's going to be a blessing. Our community is going to be a lot better. So I just thank you for just even contemplating, thinking about giving, and being here this weekend. Next weekend on the parking lot, we're going to have fun. The movie night, the breast awareness thing, cancer thing. And so that's all important. And so if we put it in perspective, God wants us to do that. And he's blessed us to do that. So we're going to be able to get that done. So with that said, Pastor Brown is already gone. Let me close. If you'll stand, we're going to close it up and go out to the building. And praise God for you being here. And I praise God and hope that you'll get back safe. All right? All right. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord, for this time. Thank you for all that you've done for us and the wonderful heat, the lights that we've had in the buildings or the parking lot to park our car in. I pray for Brother Steve, Sister Danielle, and their birthdays, Lord. Thank you for allowing them to live one more year. And Lord, we ask that you just bless them during their birthday. We thank you for all that has been done and said here today. And Lord, we ask that you just watch over the children's home and all the things that else that are going on right now. In Jesus' precious name we pray. Amen. Amen. You dismiss.
Just a reminder, we're taking all leaders' pictures immediately after service reaches 9. So if you haven't taken your picture, I can take it right now.
Okay, Sean, let me do the time.
It'll only take a few minutes.
What's the proper spelling of Heaven's last name? D-U-R-R-E.
Hold on. Wait a minute. I gotta turn the speed off. Hold on. I'm trying to hit stop pumping. Hold on.